Today I'm going to be talking about managing conflict in relationships. This is from chapter 9, and conflict is something we all experience, whether it's with friends, family, or even at school. Conflict is normal in a lot of relationships, but how we handle it is really important. I'll explain what conflict is, where it originates, and how it can be managed in different ways in healthy relationships. What is interpersonal conflict? When we talk about interpersonal conflict, we're talking about conflict that happens between people who depend on each other. These are relationships that truly matter. Conflict usually occurs when people believe their goals don't align or when one person feels the other is interfering with what they want or what they need. It's important to understand that conflict itself isn't necessarily bad. It can be positive or negative, depending on how it's handled. For example, my friends and I rely on each other, but we also face conflicts because we don't always agree. One time we argued whether we should go home or keep hanging out late at night. We disagreed, but that helped us understand each other's perspective. How we manage conflicts impacts our relationships and help us grow together as individuals. Constructive conflict versus deconstructive conflict. There are two main types of conflict: constructive and deconstructive. Constructive conflict helps people understand each other better and solve problems together. It focuses on the issue, not the person. Deconstructive conflict includes blaming, yelling, or personal attacks, which usually make the relationship worse instead of better. During sophomore year, I wanted to go to a concert, but my friend preferred to stay home. I acknowledged her feelings and suggested maybe we do a movie night instead, because she wasn't really feel like going. This helped us both feel heard and allowed us to resolve the situation together. Instead of that, if we yelled at each other and didn't work it out, then we probably would not be friends. Constructive conflict over deconstructive conflict can make all the difference in maintaining healthy, lasting relationships. Because if you understand one another and figure it out, then you won't have all this tension building up inside of you wanting to change things. Sources of conflict. A lot of conflict comes from miscommunication, like assuming instead of asking questions. Unmet expectations can also cause problems when people expect something without discussing it. Differences in values or beliefs can lead to conflict as well. Stress is another major source because when people are stressed, they're more likely to react emotionally. One time I had a conflict with my mom when I assumed she didn't want to hang out because she didn't reply to my message. Instead of asking her, I let my assumptions cause tension. Later, I found out she was just busy. This taught me that miscommunication can lead to conflict, and it's important to seek clarity before jumping to conclusions. Keep in mind that clear communication and understanding the root causes of conflict can prevent unnecessary misunderstandings and strengthen your relationships. I know it's hard to ask people questions instead of just assuming, but it's just a part of life and we need to learn how to do that. Conflict management styles. People handle conflict in different ways. Some people avoid conflict completely, while others accommodate by giving in. Some people compete and try to win the argument, and others compromise as both sides give something up. The most effective long term style is collaboration, because both people work together to solve the problem instead of one person winning. During a team project, my ideas for our presentation clashed with a teammate's. Instead of arguing, we decided to meet and discuss our views. I expressed my concerns about engaging the audience, and she shared her focuses on through content. We worked together to create a balanced presentation that combined both our strengths. This experience taught me that working together to find a solution can lead to better outcomes and strengthen your team dynamics. When you approach conflict as an opportunity to collaborate, you're not only wanting to solve problems more effectively, but also build stronger relationships within your team. Productive conflict behaviors. Productive conflict behaviors help keep disagreements respectful and calm. This includes staying calm using I statements instead of blaming, showing empathy, and actively listening. These behaviors help both people feel heard and increase the chance of solving the conflict. This past summer, while I was visiting my grandma in Missouri, I had a disagreement with her about talking to my biological mother. Instead of arguing, we discussed our views. I shared my reasons for not wanting to reach out due to past experiences and how she treated me, and my grandma explained to her perspective on family and forgiveness. While we didn't fully agree, the conversation helped us understand each other's perspectives. As you can see, when you use productive conflict behaviors, you can transform even the most challenging conversations into valuable opportunities for understanding and growth. Deconstructive conflict patterns. Deconstructive conflict patterns make situations way worse. This includes criticizing the other person, bringing up past issues that aren't related, stonewalling or shutting down, and escalating the argument. These behaviors usually damage trust and make conflict harder to resolve. I argued with a friend about planning a trip. I criticized them, and they brought up a past mistake of mine, and that made me feel horrible. So much to the point I shut down. And we ended up frustrated without resolving anything because we were too scared to talk to each other and we were just both mad. So, in that instance, we stopped being friends. Our conflict patterns made it worse. It's essential to recognize our past conflicts can influence our present interactions and to strive for open communication to foster resolution rather than frustration. Conflict resolution steps. To resolve conflict, the first step is identifying the issue clearly. Then both people need to share their perspectives and feelings. Listening without interrupting is important. After that, finding common ground helps move forward toward a solution. Finally, both sides agree on a solution so the conflict doesn't keep happening. I had a conflict with a friend over weekend plans, relaxation, or adventure. After discussing our views, we agreed on a mix of activities that we could do together. Resolving the issue and strengthening our friendship while we didn't fully agree, the conversation helped us understand one another. The main takeaway from this chapter is that conflict is normal in relationships. Communication matters more than the conflict itself. When people use respect, empathy, and collaboration, conflict can strengthen relationships instead of damaging them. For some people, respect is one of the most important things in a relationship. And if you give that person disrespect, then you are going to ruin that relationship and you will never see them again. So it's always important to give them respect. I use the textbook Interpersonal Communication Everyday Counters for my source for this presentation. I'll end this presentation by saying that conflict isn't something to fear in relationships. It's always something to understand and manage. When people approach conflict with empathy and communication, it has the potential to strengthen relationships rather than weaken them. I hope you learned a lot from this presentation, and thank you for listening.